Today we're going to talk about, should you wear insulation layers inside of your sleeping bag, and if so, how many? I thought this was a good idea, but it's pretty hot in here now. The Valandre troll jacket is hot. Alright, so let's talk about, should you wear insulation layers or not inside your sleeping bag? Well, the funny thing is, if you've been in a lot of different sleeping bags, you realize that they have different girths to them, you know, basically the circumference around you. So do you have enough room to even do that? A good example is the Mountain Hardwear Phantom. I tested that one out a week or two ago. 7-degree weather, it's a 0-degree bag, and it tested out really bad. Didn't test out very good. And after analyzing it and thinking about it, what happened was, because it's not a very girthy bag, I'm 6 foot, about 210, what I noticed was, when I put my hands to the side, the top of the bag would actually compress against me. Now the thing with sleeping bags is you don't want the sleeping bag to compress because you're not going to have any insulation value. So as I just simply had my hands to the side, it was compressing that against the top of me, which was then kind of making the insulation value worse, which is probably why it tested bad. So for instance, let's look at the Mountain Hardwear Phantom and see if we should add a layer to that or not. I already know the answer to this question, but for demonstration purposes, let's just get in it. I mean, this is just me putting my hand on my chest, right? So as you can see my hand just popping out, you know, wherever it is. And I'm just simply moving it. I'm not doing anything. I have my hands to the side and I'm simply moving my hand on the front here, and you can see it's already compressing it. So in this bag, you probably should not wear an insulation layer in addition to what you normally would wear to bed. And that's the thing you gotta keep in mind. Sleeping bags are not created equal. Some sleeping bags are made for you to layer, and that's the philosophy behind the company. And some sleeping bags are not made for you to layer, or they're made for stick people, one or the other. So have to keep in mind, having a trimmer cut makes this bag way lighter than some other bags. So they might get you on the lightweight department, but somebody has a 42, 44 chest like me with broader shoulders, this bag, if I'm wearing anything but a base layer, probably not gonna work. So whatever that bag's limit is, which I have found for me, wearing just a light layer is like 10 degrees. So I'm not gonna be able to take that below 10 degrees if I do use it. I just thought of this video and I put all these bags away, so now I gotta get them all back out. If that's the worst thing that happens to me, it's a pretty good day. This ThermARest, I can wear a light insulation layer. When I say light insulation layer, I mean something like one of these thin, you know, either synthetic or down jackets. You know, nothing major, nothing really thick. Everyone sells one of these packable insulation layers. So this ThermARest, I could easily take down to 5 degrees. I've had it down to 7 and it's been perfectly fine, and you know, in light clothing. I've actually haven't tried it with some sort of insulation like this, but I know from being in it that I can wear this and it's not gonna jam it up. Alright, so as you can see with this one, I have this insulation layer on, and you can barely, if at all, see my hand protruding as I move it up and down the front of me. So I'm not really, and I can feel in here, it's like so much more spacious than what the other bag was from Mountain Hardwear. So ThermARest cuts theirs, I would say average. You can wear a light insulation layer to extend the rating of the bag a little bit. Now Valentine, on the other hand, will allow you to put a bigger layer on. I wouldn't say a parka, but I would say a thick insulation layer, like their Valandre Troll. As you can see here, you can barely see my hand moving, which means, you know, there's a lot of insulation here that's not getting compressed, and I can really extend the rating on this bag. The other thing I can do is hyperventilate, which I'm kind of doing right now because it's extremely hot inside of this cocoon. So for instance, when I go on a really cold backpacking trip, the one thing I'll do is I'll take a big insulation layer so that once you get to camp, you can put this on and be warm. Well, wouldn't it be nice to have this and put it inside your bag if you have to extend the bag, or you want to carry a lighter bag but extend the rating on that bag? You're already bringing this because you know when you get to camp you're going to need something for once you stop. So something like the Valandre Troll is a great option for that, and there's tons of companies out there that make a larger insulation layer that's not the size of a parka, but it's not something that's, you know, thin and light like this insulation layer by Black Diamond. So keep that in mind when you're out looking for sleeping bags. If you can, try them out. Go to REI or something like that. Try out the bag before you buy it. Or if you're looking online and you know what kind of bag you like already, take a look at the specs. What's the girth? You know, what's the shoulder room in that bag? And then if that works for you, then a bag with a similar girth, shoulder room will probably accommodate you well. They're all cut differently. Mountain Hardwear is cut very, very tight, and that's how they cut weight, and that's how they try to extend the rating on their bag, because the closer the bag is to you, without compressing, the warmer it's going to be, a warmer bag. So stay tuned for all these testing videos that I have coming out, and on top of that, the review videos I have coming out on all these sleeping bags. Stone Glacier is going to be sending me some bags. ThermARest is going to send me a 20-degree bag, so I can get them into the 20-degree range bag. I'm ultimately going to have a best 0-degree bag video and a best 15 to 20-degree bag video based on all the bags I'm testing, and there's a ton of them. So you can go to another channel and they might have 1 or 2 sleeping bags that they're testing or they're using. But until you have a ton of bags from different vendors, different manufacturers, and you understand the philosophy behind each of them, and you actually use them and test them, you really can't say one bag's good or not. If you've only seen 1 or 2 vendors, then your knowledge base is very small. Whereas if I have 15 different manufacturers that have sent me a bag, and I can compare it against each other, I'm gonna have a better data range to pull from to say, hey, this one really, really does well, or hey, this one's really expensive, but it doesn't really do well, or hey, this doesn't really do well, but here's why. And the Mountain Hardwear is an example of that. Of if you're a smaller kind of person, bag's gonna work for you. If you don't have a lot of girth, if you don't have a 482 chest or bigger, you know, bigger shoulders, that bag's gonna work really well for you, and you're gonna have a good experience. For me, I just seem to compress the down on the top when I have my shoulders to the side, just simply sitting there because it's a tighter bag. So those are the things I don't think that are communicated through to the customer on websites and such. Hopefully I can help convey some of that. So stay tuned to see all that data come out in these reviews and these tests. And until next time, later.